Good morning, and thank you to the members of Congress and staff for convening this important briefing. Today, I stand before you to highlight the alarming and escalating persecution of religious and ethnic minorities in Bangladesh, specifically Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, and indigenous peoples, who face systematic violence, displacement, and erasure based solely on their identity. According to the Bangladesh Hindu-Buddhist Christian Unity Council, there is credible evidence that the current government, led by Chief Advisor Dr. Muhammad Yunus, along with law enforcement agencies including the police, military, and Rapid Action Battalion, RAB, have either tacitly supported or directly facilitated attacks by Islamist groups on these vulnerable communities. The government has sought to obscure the severity of these crimes by framing attacks on minorities as politically motivated incidents, rather than recognizing them as part of a broader campaign of ethnic cleansing. In fact, on January 11, 2025, the Chief Advisor's press wing confirmed that out of 2,010 reported attacks, 1,769 were verified, with over 1,400 investigated, yet only 62 cases were filed, 35 arrests made, and perpetrators remain largely unaccountable. Between late December 2025 and January 2026 alone, at least 17 Hindus were brutally murdered, many burned alive, and dozens of homes were torched across the country, none of which have led to meaningful justice. Ethnic cleansing is defined by the United Nations as the deliberate removal of civilian populations through violence, intimidation, and destruction of their homes and communities. While not a standalone crime under international law, such acts constitute crimes against humanity and war crimes. Bangladesh's Hindu population has plummeted from approximately 28 to 30% in 1947 to less than 8% today, a staggering loss of more than 50 million people from their historic presence. This demographic collapse has occurred alongside recurring massacres, sexual violence, land confiscation, and forced displacement, particularly intensified during elections and communal tensions. Indigenous communities in regions such as the Chittagong Hill Tracts face parallel repression through militarization and land seizures, further deepening the crisis. Allow me to briefly share 3 illustrative cases that highlight the severity of this crisis and the involvement or complicity of state forces. Case 1. The targeted killing of Hindu police officer S.I. Santosh Chowdhury, August 2024. During anti-government protests, S.I. Santosh Chowdhury was brutally singled out. While Muslim officers were rescued by the military, S.I. Santosh was forcibly taken by the Bangladesh army, savagely beaten, set on fire, and his charred body was found hanging from a tree near Baniachong police station. Disturbingly, a student leader publicly boasted about his role in this murder on video, yet no charges have been filed. This case epitomizes ethnic targeting sanctioned or tolerated by state and military actors. Case 2. The lynching of Deepu Chandra Das, December 2025. Deepu, a 27-year-old Hindu garment factory worker, was accused of blasphemy, an allegation police later deemed unverified. Despite reportedly seeking police protection, factory management forced him to resign and handed him over to a mob of 140 to 150 people. He was brutally beaten, hanged from a tree near the Dhaka-Mymensingh highway, and his body was set on fire roadside, causing traffic disruption. This horrific lynching exposes grave failures in protection and accountability. Case 3. State-supported crackdown on Hindus in Hazari Goli, November 2024. After peaceful Hindu protests against Islamophobic social media posts, joint police and military forces launched a violent crackdown, beating, torturing, and arresting over 80 Hindus, raiding homes, and destroying evidence. Although no deaths occurred, this brutal suppression is widely viewed as a deliberate campaign to intimidate and repress Hindu minorities. A further example is the imprisonment of ISKCON leader Chinmoy Krishna Das, arrested on fabricated charges and held without due process for over a year, a clear attempt to silence Hindu activists demanding justice. The United States has powerful tools at its disposal to respond to this ongoing crisis through the International Religious Freedom Act, the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act, and the U.S. Atrocity Prevention Framework. We urge members of Congress to support the early, targeted application of global Magnitsky sanctions and IRFA designations against individuals and entities responsible for systematic persecution of religious and indigenous minorities. This must be coupled with enhanced congressional oversight to ensure atrocity prevention warnings translate into decisive and timely U.S. action. Protecting vulnerable minorities is not only a moral imperative, it is essential to preventing further mass atrocities and preserving U.S. leadership on human rights globally. Thank you.